So I learned how to take pain.
See, the problem I had was why. And then one day... Anyone else fucking want it? Anyone else? All right. Hey, that's it. We're talking about 20 grand.
I think your brother's bankrolling it.
My brother did this. My own fucking brother! Became about survival.
You can. And it fucking burns.
Can't let you go.
You're the same thing, are you?
You're gonna die in here tonight, Cain. There's 10 of us.
I only need one to blow your fucking head apart.
And what have you actually accomplished here tonight, eh?
Cain Burgess is being escorted by officers to a hospital under heavy security. The trip is part of an arranged visit meant to let him see his ailing mother one last time. When he arrives, he discovers that she has already passed away, leaving him no chance to say goodbye. He stays with her body briefly, keeping his emotions restrained despite the loss. After leaving the hospital room, Cain enters an elevator with the guards. As the doors close, he suddenly attacks them, using speed and precision to overwhelm the officers before they can react. Their resistance fails almost instantly, and the fight ends with the guards incapacitated. Cain escapes from the elevator through the hospital's back exit and disappears into the city. Soon after, Cain approaches a small private bar guarded by bouncers. They stop him from entering, but he fights them without hesitation. The confrontation is quick, and Cain overpowers them before stepping inside. His arrival creates tension, but he calmly orders a drink from the bartender, Bez, while surveying the people inside. A group of local gang members sit together discussing recent trouble involving one of their own, a man named Rook. One of them, Toon, tells the story of Rook's death, claiming that a mysterious figure appeared during a drug deal. According to Toon, Rook confronted the stranger and was suddenly attacked with an axe, losing his hand before being killed. Toon insists he chased the killer away afterward. Cain quietly listens until he laughs at Toon's version of events. He accuses Toon of lying and says that Toon actually ran away in fear the night Rook died. Toon becomes angry, and the rest of the gang prepares to fight Cain. Before they can act, Cain reveals that he is the killer they are talking about, causing the entire group to hesitate and back away. Bez urges Cain to leave, but the bouncers re-enter the bar and attempt to stop him again. Cain disarms the situation by drawing a double-barreled shotgun, forcing both the bouncers and the gang members to freeze. With the room under his control, he demands information about Lincoln, the gang's leader and Cain's older brother. Hyde, Lincoln's trusted lieutenant, soon arrives and recognizes Cain immediately. He explains to the gang that Cain is Lincoln's younger brother who ended up imprisoned after making a mistake. Hyde mocks Cain's appearance, especially his scars and metal dental implants, which were the result of violence he experienced in prison. The tension grows as Cain prepares for answers. But things are about to shift again as Cain forces Hyde to contact Lincoln, setting the stage for the confrontation he has been planning. However, the full story of why Cain ended up in prison is just about to be revealed. With the gang gathered and Hyde forced to call Lincoln, Cain decides it is time to explain why he has returned and what led him to this moment. While the group remains restrained under his control, he begins recounting the events that pushed him into the violent path they now see. This marks the start of the film's extended flashback. Cain explains that years earlier, he was a struggling professional boxer attempting to build a normal life. He approached his older brother Lincoln, a loan shark and criminal operator, asking for money to open a legitimate business. Lincoln was playing cards with his associates Rook and Stokes at the time. They mocked Cain for his unreliable boxing performances, especially when he failed to lose matches on purpose after they had bet against him. As Cain prepared to leave in frustration, Lincoln stopped him and finally agreed to lend the money, on one condition. Cain would need to complete a job for him first. Desperate for help and with no real alternative, Cain accepted the task without asking any questions about what it involved. This would become the decision that started his downfall. Soon after, Cain met Hyde, who gave him instructions. The assignment seems simple: steal a plastic bag from a middle-aged woman who had just collected it. Believing it to be a minor job, Cain carried out the robbery quickly. What he didn't expect was the woman's intense determination to retrieve the bag. She chased him through the streets until she was accidentally struck by a passing car. Cain froze at the scene and was immediately arrested. In custody, Cain encountered Detective O'Hara, who had long been investigating Lincoln's loan sharking operation. O'Hara explained that Lincoln's business preyed on debtors, loaning them money and then arranging for it to be stolen so the debtors would fall even deeper into financial ruin. Despite learning the truth, Cain refused to betray his brother, believing in family loyalty above anything else. This refusal placed Cain in an even worse situation. He was charged with robbery, manslaughter, and complicity in organized crime. His interrogation was handed over to Sergeant Evans, a corrupt officer who worked secretly for Lincoln. Evans beat Cain while he was tied down, attempting to extract a confession. Cain resisted the interrogation, but the assault left him unconscious. Cain was then sentenced to HMP Belmarsh, known for being one of the country's most violent prisons. Despite having no criminal history, he was thrown into an environment filled with hardened offenders. On his first day, he was attacked without warning by other inmates. Although he managed to fight back, the group eventually overwhelmed him and shattered his front teeth, leading to the metal replacements he would keep for the rest of his life. During an early visit, Cain's mother informed him that Lincoln refused to help and blamed Cain for everything that happened. This confirmed that Cain's loyalty had been one-sided, but he still hoped his brother would eventually reach out. Days passed without any message, call, or support. Cain was completely on his own. The constant attacks continued inside the prison. Cain decided he needed to change in order to survive, so he began strict physical and mental training. On another day in the yard, he fought 2 inmates and defeated both of them using his new discipline. One of the injured attackers revealed the truth behind the assaults: Lincoln had placed a £20,000 bounty on Cain's head. This meant every inmate had a reason to try killing him. From that point on, the violence against him escalated. Prisoners used improvised weapons, including a homemade chemical mixture similar to napalm, which burned part of Cain's face. Cain's sentence lengthened with each fight, and his behavior grew colder and more ruthless. Over time, he transformed into someone capable of fighting anyone who challenged him. Even the guards became wary of him. Eventually, after years of violence, Cain's mother returned to tell him she had pancreatic cancer. He struggled to explain what Lincoln had done and now realized she was the only person left who cared for him. Her health declined, and Cain later found himself hospitalized after yet another prison altercation. Detective O'Hara visited him there, revealing that Evans, the officer who had tortured Cain, was actually working as an informant for Lincoln. O'Hara warned Cain that Lincoln still wanted him dead. This time, Cain finally agreed to cooperate with the detective in exchange for one last visit to his dying mother. As the transcripts confirm, this agreement led to the hospital transport scene earlier, where Cain arrived too late, lost control, and used the opportunity to escape. Back in the bar, Cain's story leaves the gang silent. The years of betrayal, violence, and survival explain the scars they see on him now. But Cain still hasn't confronted Lincoln, and the night is far from over. Back in the present timeline inside the bar, Cain finishes explaining how his prison sentence spiraled into years of violence and how Lincoln's betrayal shaped every moment of his transformation. The gang members, who had been hostile earlier, now listen in silence. With Hyde still kneeling and the shotgun nearby, Cain prepares for Lincoln's arrival, knowing the confrontation is unavoidable. Two gang members ask Cain if they can go to the restroom, but he refuses. He orders them to relieve themselves where they stand, reinforcing how little control they have left. Hyde tries to act defiant, telling Cain to just finish whatever he intends to do. Cain forces Hyde onto his knees and warns him that anything he says after this point could be his last. The room grows tense as they await Lincoln. Lincoln finally arrives with 3 of his men. He is surprised to find Cain alive, out of prison, and holding his crew hostage. The moment Lincoln enters, Cain becomes even more aggressive. He quickly disarms the new arrivals and forces them to sit with the others. The bar is now completely under Cain's control, and Lincoln realizes that the situation is worse than he expected. Cain demands an explanation for the years of attacks in prison and the bounty on his head. Lincoln tries to minimize his actions, attempting first to use emotional manipulation. He suggests that Cain is overreacting or misunderstanding the situation. Cain presses him further, refusing to accept vague responses or excuses. The tension between the brothers intensifies. Lincoln eventually reveals his version of events. He claims that one of his informants inside the police force told him Cain planned to snitch on him. Cain immediately identifies the source, Sergeant Evans. He tells Lincoln that Evans wasn't just wrong, he was corrupt and had been feeding Lincoln false information. Cain also reveals that Evans is already dead, killed by Cain during his escape. This revelation shocks both Lincoln and his gang. Lincoln, trying to regain control, offers Cain a chance to start fresh. He claims they can rebuild their relationship and continue working together. But Cain ignores the offer. Instead, he turns toward Hyde, who had mocked him throughout the night. Without hesitation, Cain shoots Hyde in the head, killing him instantly. The gang panics as Cain shows how far he has gone. Lincoln is forced to confront the reality of Cain's transformation. While dealing with Hyde's sudden death, he learns something even more damaging: his bank accounts are nearly empty. Cain explains that Hyde was not the only person he confronted after escaping. He also visited Stokes, Lincoln's accountant, who attempted to intimidate Cain with a shotgun. Cain disarmed him and forced Stokes to transfer all £2.2 million from Lincoln's accounts. Instead of keeping the money, Cain redistributed the entire amount to the people Lincoln had exploited through his loan scam. One of these victims later discovers the unexpected deposit in his account, confirming Cain's story. This revelation leaves Lincoln not only powerless but also financially destroyed. The gang begins to realize their entire operation has collapsed. Lincoln still believes the numbers are in his favor. Cain only has 2 shotgun shells left, and the gang outnumbers him 10-1. Cain disagrees. He explains that he only needs 1 bullet, and that bullet is meant for Lincoln. This remark shifts the entire mood, and even the remaining gang members look uncertain about their chances. Lincoln tries to stall, using distraction and conversation to find an opening. He notices Bez slowly moving toward Cain with a bottle. As Cain listens to Lincoln speak, Bez strikes him in the head, triggering a violent explosion of chaos throughout the bar. The final confrontation is about to begin, and every remaining member must fight to survive. But this ambush is only the beginning of the brutal showdown Cain has been preparing for. Bez's attack with the bottle throws the entire bar into chaos. Cain staggers from the blow but quickly regains his footing. One of Lincoln's men charges at him, and Cain fires a shot into the man's chest, using one of the last remaining shells. With the gun nearly empty, the rest of the gang sees an opportunity and swarms him. They tackle him, knock the shotgun away, and force him into a hand-to-hand brawl. Unable to rely on weapons, the gang begins throwing bottles, glasses, and anything else they can reach. Bez contributes by handing them a bag filled with tools, iron bars, hammers, and knives. The attackers try to overwhelm Cain with sheer numbers and improvised weapons, hoping to finish him before he can regain control. The fight becomes increasingly violent as both sides trade blows in close quarters. Cain absorbs hit after hit but continues to push forward. His years in Belmarsh have hardened him, and each strike only fuels his determination to take down the gang. He knocks several men to the floor with rapid punches and kicks. Despite being outnumbered, he moves methodically, disabling one attacker at a time. The confined space limits the gang's advantage, allowing Cain to turn the fight in his favor. Toon, who had previously run from danger, briefly flees the bar once more. This time, however, he returns holding a submachine gun. He opens fire across the room in a panic, but none of the bullets hit Cain. Instead, Toon accidentally kills one of his own men. Cain seizes the moment, takes the gun from him, and uses it to eliminate several of the remaining attackers with short bursts of fire. The last few gang members attempt a coordinated assault. They attack Cain with knives, kicks, and grappling holds, but he overpowers each one. He breaks one man's arm before striking him in the head, bites into another's neck during a close struggle, and repeatedly stabs a third attacker in the throat. Each confrontation is decisive, and the group is reduced one by one until only Cain, Lincoln, and Bez remain. Lincoln retrieves a shotgun and aims it directly at Cain. He admits that the truth behind the bounty had nothing to do with loyalty or betrayal. Whether Cain talked to the police or not didn't matter to him. The real reason he ordered the hit was because the mere rumor of Cain's snitching made Lincoln lose respect among his criminal partners, and he couldn't tolerate that loss of influence. Lincoln pulls the trigger, but the weapon clicks empty. Cain had already known there were no shells left. Lincoln realizes too late that attempting to intimidate his brother with an empty gun has only made things worse. Cain advances, and Lincoln switches to a knife handed to him earlier by Bez. The brothers engage in a close, desperate knife fight, each struggling to gain control of the blade. After a brief struggle, Cain overpowers Lincoln and stabs him, ending the years of betrayal and conflict between them. Lincoln collapses, leaving Cain standing as the last surviving combatant. Bez, who had participated earlier by arming the gang and striking Cain, freezes in place as Cain steps toward her. Though she expected retaliation, Cain chooses not to kill her. He turns away and leaves her surrounded by the bodies of the gang she had served for years. Cain exits the bar and walks into the night, wounded and exhausted. Meanwhile, Detective O'Hara discovers that the £2 million taken from Lincoln's accounts has been distributed across 147 victims defrauded by Lincoln's loan business. Cain, through his actions, has returned everything Lincoln stole. For some victims, the restored money appears unexpectedly in their accounts, signaling the impact of Cain's final decision. With Lincoln dead and his criminal operation dismantled, Cain's long path of revenge comes to an end. His violent transformation was shaped by betrayal, survival, and his final choice to undo the damage his brother caused. The story closes with Cain disappearing from the bar, leaving behind both vengeance and the criminal world that trapped him years before.